My dearest seniors, welcome to this wonderful speech of empowerment I have created for you. You know, there are moments in life that feel like a turning point, a gentle nudge that whispers, it's time for something more. Have you ever felt that? That subtle pull, that inner knowing that a new chapter is just waiting to be written? Well, today we're diving deep into that very feeling, that beautiful, transformative space that opens up in the years after we cross that incredible milestone of 60. And let me tell you, if you're thinking this chapter is about slowing down, honey, you've got another thing coming. Because what I've discovered and what so many incredible people are finding is that this is a time for a reawakening. You see, for too long, maybe we've carried around a certain narrative about what aging looks like. A narrative that whispers of limitations, of slowing down, of fading into the background. But what if I told you that the most vibrant, the most powerful version of you is just waiting to be unleashed? What if the wisdom you've gathered, the experiences you've lived, are the keys to unlocking a whole new level of joy and fulfillment? Today, we're going to explore 5 incredible shifts, 5 powerful keys that can unlock that door to a more vibrant, more meaningful life right now. These aren't just ideas, they're pathways to transformation, to rediscovering your inner fire, and to living your best life in this glorious chapter you're in. Are you ready to dive in and see what's possible? Because trust me, what you're about to hear might just change everything. So let's get started, shall we? Let's unlock the first key to this incredible new beginning. 1. Rewriting your inner narrative. In this first step, we're going to talk about something truly transformative, something that has the power to unlock a whole new world of possibilities within us. Rewriting your inner narrative. You know, for so long, society has often painted a certain picture of aging, a picture that sometimes whispers of decline, of fading, of a slowing down that might be seen as a loss. But what if we dared to challenge that narrative? What if we dared to rewrite the story we tell ourselves about this incredible stage of life? Because, my friends, I believe that the years after 60 are not about a diminishment. They are about a deepening of wisdom, of experience, of the very essence of who we are. It's about recognizing that the richness of our lives has been building layer upon layer, and now in this season, we have the opportunity to truly savor that depth. I remember in my own journey, there were moments when I would catch myself falling into that old narrative. I'd hear a comment here or there, see an image in the media, and a subtle seed of limitation would be planted. I might think, oh, I'm not as quick as I used to be, or perhaps I should start slowing down. It was almost like a default setting, a program that had been running in the background for years. But then a moment would come, a spark of insight that would challenge that ingrained belief. I recall a time when I was considering taking on a new project, something that felt exciting and a little outside my comfort zone. And the familiar voice in my head, that inner critic, piped up with, "Are you sure you have the energy for that at your age?" It was a subtle discouragement, rooted in that old narrative of decline. But then I thought to myself, wait a minute, I have more experience, more wisdom, and perhaps even more clarity now than I did when I was younger. Why should age be a barrier to pursuing something I'm passionate about? That was the moment the shift began. My friends, the first step in rewriting your inner narrative is to become aware of the story you're currently telling yourself about aging. Pay attention to the thoughts that pop into your head when you think about this stage of life. Are they filled with limitations and fears, or are they tinged with possibility and excitement? Take a moment to simply observe those thoughts without judgment. Just acknowledge them. I started to consciously change the language I used when I spoke about myself and my age. Instead of saying, I'm getting old, I would say, I'm gaining more wisdom with each passing year. Instead of focusing on what I might perceive as a loss of physical agility, I would celebrate the strength and resilience I had built over decades. This simple shift in language, this conscious choice of words, began to change my internal landscape. Once you identify those limiting beliefs, the next step is to actively replace them with empowering ones. If you find yourself thinking, I can't learn new things, consciously tell yourself, my mind is always capable of growth and learning. If you hear that inner voice saying, I'm not as relevant as I used to be. Remind yourself of the profound value of your experience and the unique perspective you bring to the world. I remember deciding to finally learn to use a new piece of technology that had always intimidated me. The old narrative would have said, "Oh, you'll never figure that out." But I consciously chose a different story. I told myself I am resourceful, I am persistent, and I am capable of learning anything I set my mind to. And you know what? It wasn't always easy. There were moments of frustration, but the feeling of accomplishment when I finally mastered it was exhilarating. It reawakened a sense of confidence I hadn't realized I had tucked away. This shift in your inner narrative has a powerful impact on your creativity. When you release the belief that you're past your prime, you open the door to new ideas, new passions, new ways of expressing yourself. Perhaps you've always wanted to paint or write or learn a musical instrument. Now is the time to give yourself permission to explore those creative urges without the self-imposed limitations of age. I found myself revisiting some of my earlier interests, things I hadn't had time for when I was juggling so many responsibilities. I started reading more poetry, something I hadn't done regularly in years. And in that quiet space of appreciation, a desire to express my own thoughts and feelings in a more creative way began to stir. It was a beautiful reminder that our creative spark doesn't fade with age. It often deepens and becomes more nuanced. And perhaps the most beautiful outcome of rewriting your inner narrative is the reawakening of joy. When you release the fear of decline and embrace the deepening of your life, you open yourself up to a greater appreciation for the present moment. You savor the simple pleasures, you find joy in connecting with loved ones, and you approach each day with a sense of gratitude and possibility. I remember a day when I was simply sitting on my porch watching the birds flit through the trees. In the past, I might have been thinking about what I needed to do next, but with this shift in my narrative, I allowed myself to simply be present, to appreciate the beauty of that moment, the warmth of the sun on my skin, the sounds of nature. It was a simple moment, but it was filled with a profound sense of joy, a joy that came from within, unburdened by the worries of the past or the anxieties of the future. My dear friends, I want you to know that you have the power to write a new story for yourself, a story of growth, of vitality, of continued contribution and joy. It starts with a conscious decision to challenge those old limiting beliefs and to embrace the truth that your life is not winding down. It is deepening, expanding, and becoming even more rich and meaningful. Make a conscious effort to surround yourself with positive influences, with people who celebrate life at every stage. Read books, listen to podcasts, watch inspiring stories of individuals who are thriving in their later years. Practice gratitude daily, focusing on the blessings in your life, and most importantly, be kind and compassionate to yourself on this journey. There will be moments when the old narrative tries to creep back in, but simply acknowledge it and gently redirect your thoughts. You are not defined by your age. You are defined by your spirit, your resilience, your wisdom, and your capacity for love and joy. Embrace this incredible chapter of your life with open arms and an open heart. Rewrite your inner narrative and watch as your confidence soars, your creativity blossoms, and your joy overflows. The best is truly yet to come to reconnecting with your spiritual self. In this second step, we're going to delve into something truly profound, something that has brought immense peace and meaning to my own life, and I believe can do the same for yours, reconnecting with your spiritual self. As the world around us moves at a rapid pace, it's easy to get caught up in the external, the to-do lists, the responsibilities, the constant demands on our time and energy. We can become so focused on the doing that we lose touch with the very essence of who we are, with that quiet inner voice that guides and sustains us. It's like a beautiful melody playing softly in the background, and we've simply turned the volume down too low to hear it. Life after 60, my friends, often presents us with a unique opportunity. The demands of career and raising a family may have lessened, creating a space for a different kind of exploration, an inward journey. It's a time when the whispers of the soul become a little clearer, a little more insistent. And it's in this space that the profound act of reconnecting with our spiritual selves can truly transform our lives. I remember a time years ago when I felt a subtle but persistent sense of something missing. I had achieved many of the things I had set out to do, but there was a hollowness that lingered. I was busy, yes, but I wasn't truly present. The shift began not with a grand revelation, but with a quiet yearning, a desire to understand the deeper meaning of life, to feel a sense of connection that went beyond the everyday hustle and bustle. It was like a thirst for something I couldn't quite name. Now, when I talk about reconnecting with your spiritual self, I'm not necessarily talking about organized religion, although that can certainly be a beautiful and powerful path for many. I'm talking about that inner core, that essence of who you are beyond your roles and your achievements. It's about tapping into that wellspring of wisdom, of peace, of love that resides within each and every one of us. It's about recognizing that you are more than just your physical body. You are a being of energy, of spirit, connected to something larger than yourself. One of the most profound ways to begin this reconnection is simply by creating space for stillness in your life. In our busy world, it can feel like a radical act to simply be. But even a few moments of quiet contemplation each day can make a world of difference. Find a quiet corner in your home, a peaceful spot in nature, or simply close your eyes for a few minutes and focus on your breath. Allow yourself to just be without judgment, without the need to accomplish anything. This simple act of stillness can be a powerful gateway to your inner world. For me, meditation has become an invaluable practice. It's not about emptying my mind entirely. That's often an unrealistic goal. It's about gently bringing my awareness back to my breath whenever my thoughts wander. It's about creating a space where I can listen to that inner voice, where I can find clarity and perspective. It's not always easy. Some days my mind is a whirlwind, but even those moments are a practice in self-compassion. The key is consistency, not perfection. Beyond meditation, there are so many other soul practices that can help you reconnect. Perhaps it's prayer, a heartfelt conversation with the divine in whatever form that takes for you. Perhaps it's spending time in nature, feeling the grounding energy of the earth beneath your feet and the vastness of the sky above. Perhaps it's engaging in creative pursuits that allow you to express your inner world, painting, writing, music, whatever brings you a sense of joy and flow. The most important thing, my friends, is to cultivate the ability to listen inward, to pay attention to those subtle nudges, those intuitive feelings that guide you. We often get so caught up in the noise of the external world that we drown out the wisdom that resides within. Learn to trust your intuition, that inner knowing that often whispers the truth to you. I remember a time when I was faced with a significant decision. There were logical arguments for both sides, and my mind was going back and forth, but in a quiet moment of reflection, I felt a clear, gentle pull in one direction. It wasn't a loud command, but a quiet knowing. And when I followed that inner guidance, it led me to a path that brought me greater peace and fulfillment than I could have imagined. That experience solidified my belief in the power of listening to that inner voice. Now, I know that sometimes the inner critic can be a formidable obstacle on this journey, that voice of doubt that tells you you're not worthy, that you don't have time, that it's too late. But I want to tell you, my friends, that that voice is often just fear in disguise. Learn to recognize it, to acknowledge its presence without giving it the power to control you. Gently remind yourself of your inherent worthiness and your capacity for connection. This reconnection with your spiritual self is not a destination, it's a journey, a lifelong unfolding. There will be moments of deep connection and moments when you feel a little more distant. Be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. The important thing is to keep showing up, to keep seeking that inner connection, that source of peace and strength that resides within you. When you nurture this connection, the benefits ripple through every aspect of your life. You find a greater sense of inner peace, a deeper resilience in the face of challenges. You develop a stronger sense of purpose, a knowing that you are part of something larger than yourself. Your relationships deepen as you connect with others from a more authentic and centered place. You become more present, more grateful, and more attuned to the beauty and wonder that surrounds you. Remember, my friends, your soul is ageless. It doesn't diminish with the passing years. It deepens, it expands, it gathers wisdom. Reconnecting with that eternal part of you is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself and the world. It's about remembering who you truly are, beyond the roles and the responsibilities, and embracing the radiant spirit that resides within. So I encourage you, my dear ones, to take a few moments today, perhaps even right now, to turn your attention inward. Find a quiet space, take a deep breath, and simply listen. Listen to the whispers of your soul. You might be surprised by what you hear. You are worthy of this connection. You deserve this peace. And I believe with all my heart that this reconnection will illuminate your path and bring even more joy and meaning to this beautiful chapter of your life. Thank you for being here with me today. May you find peace on your journey. 3, reclaiming your voice in relationships. You know, for many of us, as we've navigated the journey of life, particularly in the earlier years, we might have learned to prioritize the needs and expectations of others above our own. We might have found ourselves shrinking, dimming our own light to make others feel comfortable. We might have fallen into the habit of people-pleasing, of saying yes when our hearts were saying no, all in an effort to maintain harmony or avoid conflict. And while the intention behind this might have been pure, often rooted in love and a desire to connect, it can, over time, lead to a feeling of being unheard, unseen, and ultimately unfulfilled. But this chapter of life, my friends, offers us a profound opportunity. It's a time when we can, with a newfound sense of clarity and self-awareness, begin to reclaim our voices to speak our truth with confidence and authenticity. It's about recognizing that our own needs and feelings matter just as much as anyone else's. I remember a time earlier in my life when I would often find myself agreeing with others, even when my inner voice was telling me something different. It was a subtle thing, a nod here, a smile there, a reluctance to voice a differing opinion. I didn't want to rock the boat, to cause any discomfort. I wanted to be liked, to be seen as agreeable. But over time, this habit of silent agreement began to erode my own sense of self. I realized that I was inadvertently silencing a part of me, a part that had valuable insights and perspectives to share. Reclaiming your voice isn't about becoming argumentative or confrontational. It's about finding the courage to speak your truth with kindness and clarity. It's about honoring your own feelings, your own needs, your own boundaries. It's about recognizing that your perspective is valid, your experiences are valuable, and your voice deserves to be heard. One of the most crucial aspects of reclaiming your voice is learning to set healthy boundaries. Boundaries are not walls that keep people out. They are fences that define what is acceptable and what is not in your interactions. They are a way of saying, this is who I am, and this is how I will be treated. It might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're not used to it, but setting boundaries is an act of self-respect and self-care. I had a dear friend who, bless her heart, would often make requests that I knew I didn't have the time or energy for. For years, I would say yes out of a sense of obligation or a fear of disappointing her, but eventually I realized that this was leaving me feeling depleted and resentful. The shift came when I started to practice saying no with grace and firmness. It wasn't always easy, and there were moments of initial discomfort, but I found that most people, when you explain your needs honestly, will understand and respect your boundaries. Speaking your truth is about expressing your thoughts and feelings honestly and authentically. It's about sharing your perspective without fear of judgment. It doesn't mean you have to be harsh or critical. It means speaking from a place of genuine self-awareness and integrity. When you speak your truth, you create space for deeper connection and understanding in your relationships. Think about the relationships in your life where you feel truly seen and heard. Chances are those are the relationships where open and honest communication is the norm. When you reclaim your voice, you create the possibility for more authentic and fulfilling connections. People will know where you stand, what you value, and what you need, fostering a deeper level of trust and understanding. I remember a time when I had a challenging relationship with a family member. There was a pattern of unspoken expectations and misunderstandings. For years, I had tried to navigate the situation by being agreeable and avoiding conflict, but the underlying issues remained. The shift came when I decided to have an honest conversation, to share my feelings and needs with vulnerability and clarity. It wasn't easy, there were tears and difficult moments, but ultimately it opened the door for a deeper level of understanding and a healthier dynamic between us. It was a testament to the power of speaking your truth, even when it feels difficult. I know that the fear of speaking up, of setting boundaries, can be very real. We might worry about upsetting others, about being rejected, about being seen as difficult. But I want to tell you, my friends, that your voice is valuable and your well-being matters. The courage to speak your truth is a gift you give to yourself and to those who truly care about you. This is your time to step into your power, to honor your own needs and feelings. You have earned the right to have your voice heard. You have the strength and the wisdom within you to communicate your truth with grace and confidence. Embrace this opportunity to build relationships that are based on mutual respect and understanding. And sometimes, my friends, reclaiming your voice might also mean recognizing when a relationship, despite your best efforts, is no longer serving your well-being. It takes courage, but sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to create space for healthier connections by gently, or sometimes more directly, stepping away from relationships that are consistently draining or disrespectful. This is not about being unkind. It's about prioritizing your own peace and happiness. There is a profound sense of freedom that comes with living authentically, with speaking your truth, and with setting healthy boundaries. It's like shedding a weight you didn't even realize you were carrying. You become more present, more confident, and more able to truly connect with others on a deeper level. So, my dear ones, I encourage you to take a moment today to reflect on the relationships in your life. Where can you reclaim your voice? Where can you set a boundary with love and clarity? Where can you speak your truth with confidence? You deserve to be heard, to be seen, and to be in relationships that uplift and support you. This is your time to shine your light brightly and authentically. Go out there, my friends, and let your voice be heard. You are worthy of it. 4, redefining purpose. Redefining purpose. What comes to your mind when you first heard that? It's about letting go of the labels that may have defined us for so long and asking that profound question, who am I now? Our sense of purpose in life has often been intricately tied to our careers, our roles as parents, our titles within our communities. These are important and meaningful aspects of our lives, the things that have shaped us and given us a sense of identity. But as we transition into this beautiful chapter after 60, those roles and titles may naturally shift or even fade. And in that space, in that moment of transition, it's easy to feel a little adrift, perhaps, even a little lost. But I'm here to tell you, my friends, that this is not a time for a loss of purpose. It's an invitation to discover a new purpose, a deeper purpose, one that resonates with the evolving essence of who you are. It's about recognizing that your life still holds immense meaning, that your contribution to the world is far from over, and that the most profound purpose can often be found in the most unexpected of places. I remember a time as I began to transition from the more demanding aspects of my career, there was a quiet moment of reflection. For so long, my identity had been so intertwined with my work, with the show, with the platform. And in that shift, there was a question that echoed within me, who am I now beyond the title? It was a moment of both a little uncertainty and a great deal of possibility. The familiar structure of my days was changing, and with that change came the opportunity to explore a different kind of fulfillment. Letting go of those external labels, those titles that have defined us, can be incredibly freeing. It allows us to shed the expectations that might have come with those roles and to simply be ourselves without the pressure of external validation. It's like taking off a heavy garment and feeling the lightness and ease of simply being. So, my friends, I encourage you to ask yourself that powerful question, who am I now? Don't answer based on what you did or what you were. Answer based on who you are in this moment, in your heart, in your soul. What brings you joy? What makes your spirit sing? What are you passionate about now in this new season of your life? For me, As I explored this question, I found myself drawn to areas that had always held a special place in my heart, but that I hadn't had the time to fully pursue. I rediscovered the joy of reading, of learning new things, of simply being present in nature. I found a renewed sense of purpose in supporting causes I deeply believed in using my platform to uplift and empower others in different ways. It wasn't about the grand stage anymore. It was about the quiet satisfaction of making a difference in ways that resonated deeply with my core values. Think about the things that have always sparked your curiosity. Perhaps it's a creative pursuit you've always wanted to explore: painting, writing, music, gardening. Perhaps it's the desire to serve your community in a new way, volunteering your time and talents to a cause you care about. Perhaps it's the thrill of travel, of experiencing new cultures and broadening your horizons. Perhaps it's simply the joy of being present with loved ones, of nurturing those precious relationships. Creativity, my friends, is a powerful source of purpose at any age. It allows us to express ourselves, to connect with our inner world, and to bring beauty and meaning into the world around us. And the active service of giving back, of making a positive impact on the lives of others, is a fundamental human need that brings immense fulfillment. I met a woman recently, a vibrant woman in her late 60s who had retired from a long and successful career. She told me that she initially felt a sense of loss, a feeling of not knowing what her days would hold. But then she started volunteering at a local animal shelter. She found such joy in caring for the animals, in giving them love and attention. She described it as a profound sense of purpose, a feeling of being needed and making a difference in the lives of these creatures. It was a beautiful reminder that purpose can be found in the most unexpected and often simplest of acts. I know that the idea of redefining purpose can feel a little daunting for some. There might be a fear of not finding something meaningful, a fear of being irrelevant. But I want to reassure you, my friends, that your life still has immense value and your potential for purpose is limitless. You carry within you a lifetime of experiences, wisdom, and a unique perspective that the world needs. Embrace this new chapter as an opportunity for exploration and discovery. Allow yourself the freedom to try new things, to follow your heart, and to see where your passions lead you. This is a time to redefine what success and fulfillment mean to you beyond the traditional metrics. And sometimes, my friends, the purpose might simply be in the being, in savoring the moments, in appreciating the beauty of each day, in cultivating inner peace and contentment. There is profound purpose in simply being present, in connecting with the people you love, and in appreciating the gift of life itself. Remember, your purpose isn't something you have to go out and find. It's something that resides within you. It's about listening to that inner voice, that calling that guides you towards what truly brings you joy and meaning. It's about recognizing that your life still holds a powerful purpose, a unique contribution that only you can make. It might look different now, but it is no less significant. So I encourage you, my dear ones, to ask yourself that question: who am I now? And then open your heart to the possibilities, explore new avenues, embrace new passions, and know that your life is still filled with purpose and potential. This is a time to rediscover, to reinvent, and to step into a new season of meaning and fulfillment. Go out there, my friends, and embrace the beautiful purpose that is waiting to be revealed within you. My dear friends, as we conclude our time together today, my heart is brimming with hope and inspiration. We've explored 5 powerful shifts, 5 pathways to a richer, more meaningful life, especially in this vibrant chapter after 60. We've journeyed through the power of rewriting our inner narrative, embracing the deepening of wisdom. We've touched upon the vital act of reconnecting with your spiritual self, finding that inner peace. We've championed the liberating act of reclaiming your voice in relationships, honoring your truth. We've explored redefining purpose, discovering meaning beyond external roles, and finally, we've embraced the exhilarating call to say yes to new experiences, rejecting the notion of slowing down. These aren't just concepts, my friends. They are pathways to a life overflowing with joy, deeper connections, and profound meaning, no matter your age. This chapter after 60 is not about fading. It's about blossoming. It's about letting your accumulated wisdom shine, sharing your unique gifts, and allowing your spirit to soar. Know this, you possess the strength, the resilience, and the inner knowing to embrace these shifts and create a life aligned with your deepest desires. You are not alone on this journey. Embrace the possibilities before you. Embrace the beauty of this moment. Your life right now holds immense value and potential. So as you move forward, reflect on these shifts. What whispers to your soul? What small step can you take today to embrace that transformation? The journey begins with a single courageous step, with opening your heart and mind to new possibilities. Thank you for sharing this time with me. May you find peace, joy, and a renewed sense of purpose as you continue to write the beautiful story of your life. And remember, the best is truly yet to come.